Mike.
Welcome back to True Crime Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday is my favorite time of the week. It just means
Your
like
favorite time. It's your favorite time of the year. It's the most
no.
wonderful
So
time.
yeah, I guess I could just tell you on here. So when you were gone and I was going over to your house, I only went to your house. Well, I guess I went Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. So when I went on Monday, I went over there. I hung out there a little longer. Like
Mm-hmm.
I brought my work stuff with me for my last couple hours of the day. I did a workout. Obviously I let Cooper out and stuff. And
Right.
after my workout, oh, I also took a shower there. And and after like I did all that and I was about to like sit down and finish working, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make an iced coffee. And like I haven't used your fancy espresso machine. Like last time when I
Right.
was there, you used it.
Right.
You
Right.
made
Yeah,
me one.
I didn't instruct you on it.
You
Right.
didn't, but I was like, how hard can it be? Um it was kind of
Are
hard.
you regretting that decision? Yeah.
No, no,
You
no.
know
So I
you know
started at first, like I had the metal piece with the black pole and stuff,
yeah,
and I was trying to put it in it, and I was like, what the heck? How does this fit? But like it doesn't
we're putting
connect.
it in the side where the grinder is.
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah, because
oh, it
there's
doesn't connect at the top. It just sits here in this little black
yeah,
like
there's yeah, you like but you
fit
have to fit
spot.
it. It is tricky. That took me a little bit to figure that
Because
out.
at
Because if you
first,
don't put it in quite right, it like tips forward and yeah.
so I had it in right, and then the beans started. I just clicked grind, and then it grinded, but it was like very, very full. It was making a mess.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
this is weird. So then I just took the thing and I pushed it down and then I clicked double shot because at first, oh, that was also the thing. At first, I thought I had to select what I'm making and then click grind. So I clicked two shots
oh,
and then I clicked
oh,
grind. So now I have coffee grounds coming out here, water coming out over here. It was a very
yeah,
stressful experience, but I ended up figuring it out and it was delicious. I
yeah.
made a nice coffee.
And that's this week's True Crime Thursday. It's the crime of not operating the espresso machine properly. No, we'll do a session. I'll go over it with you because the way I knew that you didn't quite know what you were doing with it was when I went to make one today and I ground the coffee. All this extra coffee came out. I'm like, where is it? Where did this come from? Why is this here? And I was like, oh. It's actually once you figure it because it took me a little bit to figure it out. Once you figure it out, it's super simple to use though. It's like it's no worse than it's almost no worse than using the Keurig. I mean it's more, but not that much more. So today's episode is not about how to make espresso though. Today's episode is kind of a weird case, I think. I think this one's a weird case.
It was a little weird.
This was one that last week we were talking about kind of some scientific stuff and that. And in looking for some topics, I came across this one. Not really looking for a True Crime Thursday topic, but this one came up on that science topic. And yeah, it's a very strange case. This is the case of Dr. John Schneeberger. Um, and it's a really weird one. He was from a small farming town in the community of Kipling, Saskatchewan, Canada. So this is a Canadian case. Um, and it remains like a landmark example of medical and forensic deception. It's crazy. So the chronological timeline, this occurred a long time ago. In a country not that far away. Um, on October 31st of 1992, he had a patient named Candace, or Candy as she goes by. And she went to the hospital, I guess, after a personal dispute. Dr. Schneeberger, her regular physician, administered an injection of basically a powerful sedative. What is it? Midazolam. Um, and it's known to have like amnesic effects, so it makes you forget things. Um, and while she was incapacitated with this drug, he basically sexually assaulted her. Um, in November, she underwent a forensic exam and they discovered DNA from him on her clothing and on her body, which I guess it says in November. It must have been the next day because that was October 31st. Uh, Interesting that it happened on Halloween because it's kind of a Halloween kind of story. It's kind of weird. Uh,
1992 as well. That's right
yeah,
after. Wow, we were living definitely different lives at that point. Me
yeah,
and Dr. Schneeberger.
yeah, yeah,
Schneeberg, not
exactly.
Schneeberger.
Schneeberger. No,
Schneeberg.
no, it's Schneeberger.
Schneeberger. Oh, you put Schneeberg.
It's
Yeah.
Schneeberger. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, back to our story. Um, so police got a blood sample from Dr. Schneeberger to do a DNA comparison, and the lab results didn't match. His DNA did not match the DNA found on her clothes and her body. So basically, he was, they were like, okay, well, clearly he didn't do it because the DNA didn't match.
Well, and I also
Um,
read that, like, after she ended up waking up as well, he had asked her if the medication had caused wild dreams. And it's like, oh, I wonder if that was because he was like, because it says that she had, on when she testified in court, she testified that she remembered being carried, hearing voices, and feeling someone remove her clothes, and then also being sexual assaulted. So then she wakes up and he's asking, like, hey, so yeah, when you were under that medication, you remember any wild dreams?
yeah,
Almost
that's.
trying to like trick her into thinking like
Oh, I just
what she
imagined that.
remembered was just like a crazy dream she had had.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's crazy. But then in 1993, so a year later, she was confident in that she was remembering this, and
Hmm.
no matter what the lab results said.
Hmm.
So she went to the police demanding they do another DNA test.
Hmm.
He again provided a blood sample. It came back no match. So you know at this point, the police are like, okay, I know what you say, but all the evidence. You taking you taking some photos over there? What's going on?
Taking a screenshot.
You're screenshotting our session here. This is copywritten material. You can't do that.
you
Um,
know.
yeah. So that also came back as a mismatch in '94. Due to the conflicting, I guess, evidence, that the DNA they found on her did not match him at all. Um, they officially close the case. They say this, look, there's nothing here. You're claiming, we can't get him on this. It's kind of weird to me because would you close the case or would you leave it as like an open, unsolved case? Because this clearly something happened to her because you found evidence of it.
Yeah, but I guess like closing it in terms of like it's kind of I look at it as I guess like somebody like a murder case where they don't have a body, they don't have a murder weapon, like
Right,
or
right,
like because yeah, clearly something had happened to her, but I
right,
guess because she, there was no DNA from the doctor or
right,
anything connecting it to him. So they could be looking at it as like we're not trying to discredit you or what you said happened to you, but you're saying this happened while you were under at his doctor's office. It's not his
right,
DNA. We don't even know whose DNA this is.
right,
This could
right,
be just, somebody that you were with prior,
right,
or you know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's true.
it's kind of like we have
That's true, I guess.
nothing to
Yeah.
connect this to. Like it's
And it's since the person she's claiming did it, it can't connect to. At that point, what else do they have to go on?
exactly.
Um, so anyway, 2 years later in '96, she just became frustrated with the whole system, and she hired her own investigator, a guy named Larry O'Brien. Which does that not sound like that would be the name of like a private detective? Like
Yeah.
I picture Larry O'Brien. No offense to the guy in real life, but I picture him being kind of a sloppy looking guy, like his shirt's not tucked in, and he drives
Mm.
around in, I don't know, like
Like an old
a
Chevy.
20-year-old car. Yeah, an old Chevy. He's got like sandwiches sitting on the front seat. I don't know why that's
Crazy,
my
yeah.
image of him in
That's
my head.
very
He wears
cartoony.
he wears a fedora, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's giving
Um,
Scooby Doo. Very
yeah.
cartoony.
So, yeah. So he actually gets a secondary biological example from Dr. Schneeberger's car.
Hmm.
Now, how he did that, um, I don't think it, I don't know how that would be legal. But
Yeah, and
that aside,
a lot of times if you, isn't it, I mean, I'm thinking American laws. I don't know if like
right.
Canadian situations are
Yeah,
different, but like
right.
I know in America a lot of times if you break into my, you don't have a warrant, you come into my house, you find something, like you can't
Yeah,
just, it's
it's
not,
not admissible.
mhm,
Yeah.
like you actually end up kind of screwing yourself
Yeah.
because,
Well, and I wonder, like in this case, um, I mean, he found it, took it to the police.
mm-hmm,
It matched. It matched the original DNA,
mm-hmm,
which, like in that case, then it made the police go back again and do a third, um, blood sample. But I guess that one failed because the sample quality was poor. So it wasn't the other situation where it didn't match. It was just a poor sample quality. I don't know how that happens, but yeah. So, okay, so now we're up to 1996 this happens. So the
oh
next
yeah,
year,
it says it was too degraded and too small of a sample for reliable testing.
okay.
So,
So, which to me that's the fault of like whoever took the sample then. But
mm-hmm.
the next year then, unrelated to this case, Dr. Schneeberger's wife discovers that he's been drugging and sexually assaulting her 15-year-old daughter, his stepdaughter, and she reports him to authorities. In 99, he's brought to trial after, I guess, uh, forensic breakthroughs finally bypass his deception. And his deception is this is where it's crazy. So basically, what this doctor did, and he was a doctor, so of course he could come up with something like this, was he put basically a 6-inch piece of like I guess it was like a rubber like tube in his arm in the area where they would normally take a blood sample. It's called a Penrose drain. I guess it's a medical device, but it's used to drain fluid from surgical wounds. But he put it deep inside like his own forearm. Now
Mm.
he had to do that to himself, which is just insane. But he put
Right.
he put a blood sample that he had taken from a male patient of his, uh, along with coagulants. Sorry. Ooh. You can tell I'm just back from vacation because I'm having problems pronouncing words. But anyway, he took a blood sample, mixed it with anticoagulants to basically prevent the blood from clotting inside of his arm, and he put it in this tube in his arm. So then, when I guess each of those occasions when he was getting, the blood draws, he made sure they took it from the area where he knew that they would hit that that tube that was in his arm, and it would pull the blood from that, which was someone else's blood instead of his own. Um, and so, like, basically, the next time they went to do a blood sample from him, I guess, they took a swab from his mouth. They took like a finger prick blood sample, and they took some of his hair. And the DNA from those samples all matched the DNA that was on that Candy's clothes and body from the crime that was committed in 92. So yeah, basically this was the way that he got around these DNA tests. Was he put this device inside of his arm that contained someone else's blood. The thing, well, I'll give my opinion on it in a little bit. But so he was finally found guilty of sexually assault administering a noxious substance. That was the drugging of them that he did in both cases. Um, and obstruction of justice. I guess that would be like providing, false DNA samples. Maybe would
Yeah.
be the obstruction of justice piece. Um, and it says that he was acquitted of some of the secondary charges, which might be like the obstruction of justice, but he was found guilty. He was sentenced, and this was crazy to me that it was this short. He received a 6-year prison sentence
Mhm.
and served roughly 2/3 of the time. So basically, like, what, 4 years?
Yeah, it says 4 years.
Yeah,
He served around 4 years, and then he was released on parole under Canadian law.
yeah. But then because he was originally born in Zambia and lived in South Africa before he became, I guess, a Canadian citizen, he actually had his Canadian citizenship revoked because he lied on his citizenship application. So when he was released from prison, he was sent back
South
to
Africa.
South Africa.
Hmm.
Um, but which is great. But there's two things about this. Number one, and that was I get. Well, he was deported in July 2004, so it was like 12 years after this occurred in the first place. Um, but I guess two things that are like crazy about this to me. First of all, 6 years for what he did is
Hmm.
crazy. And to get it cut down to 4 years is even more crazy. I guess at the time in Canada, the sentencing requirements for crimes like sexual assault were a lot shorter than they are now. They've been changed since then, which is good for you, Canada, for getting it right. um but yeah, back then it was basically like 3 to 5 years. So I guess based on that, well, I guess there was two counts though, so that's probably how he got the 6 years. Maybe it was 3 and 3. I don't know. um
Oh.
but then the the thing to me about it that's completely crazy is the amount of premeditation that goes on for someone to install a device in their arm
That's what I
so
was
that their
thinking.
DNA
Yeah.
will not match
Like, you
is
gotta
insane to
really
me.
want to, like, sexually assault these girls
Yeah,
to, like, medically implant a tube inside of you with someone else's blood. Like,
yeah,
besides, like,
yeah,
if something goes wrong during that. But, I look at it as, yeah, he got 6 years. He only served 4. That's awful. But, like, there were also other consequences in his life. Like, he got his medical license revoked.
right,
He, um, his marriage also ended. He got divorced. Like,
rightly so.
he lost his Canadian citizenship and had to go back to South Africa.
Right,
He, like, the one thing that I have, it says that he's also one of Canada's most infamous criminal physicians, which, hey, maybe that's a positive tick on his, like, yeah, go
yeah,
you. What a
yeah, I guess,
milestone. But,
yeah,
like, he has other, in my opinion, there's a lot more things in his life that went bad. It might not be like a life in prison type of sentence, but
sure. Well,
he
it all
had
it,
it
it
all, and now he, like, you were this big time doctor in Canada,
yeah,
married and all that stuff, and now you can't ever go back to Canada. Like,
yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. And you've messed up every aspect of your life. Like, to your
mhm.
point, he's messed up his. I guess it did say that when he got back to South Africa, he did try to apply to get a medical license again, but I don't believe that was successful. The one thing it says is under Canadian federal law, almost all inmates, unless designated as a dangerous offender,
Mhm.
are legally entitled to statutory release after serving 2/3 of their sentence. So that's why he got
Oh,
released
right.
from parole. But somebody that would use, I mean, I know they're saying a dangerous offender is somebody that does something like, you know, overtly violent, maybe, but like using drugs to, incapacitate someone and then sexually assault them, that's kind of dangerous. That's somebody who would, is kind of a dangerous offender. So it does say that they did kind of correct their laws, I guess, in the early 2000s, related to that. Uh, but yeah, that's crazy. And I'm just reading some other details. Yeah, he was approved for Canadian citizenship in '93. However, he was actively under investigation. So he wasn't a citizen yet when he committed the crime, which is another interesting aspect.
Well,
Um,
and honestly, like even when it comes to the girl who first reported it, like I think that's also a big kudos to her because she like was very persistent about it. Like they
hmm
didn't just say nope, it doesn't match, and then she just either lets it go or
Yeah,
maybe does start thinking like maybe it was a wild dream. That would be crazy, but
right.
or like,
Right. I mean,
it's good that she was persistent with it and like
yeah,
started her own investigation even because, you know, she knew what
yeah,
she knew what happened. She knew what she thought was
yeah. I
correct.
mean, and you're right. I mean, the like to stick to your guns like that, even though there was all this, evidence
Yeah.
that he didn't do it because they've done what, three blood samples that have all come back negative. At that point, you got to even in your own mind, like question, wait, am I losing
Yeah.
my mind? You know what I mean? Like that would be tough to deal with. Like, or are you assuming that he, not even something like to this extent that he played the system, but he's a doctor. He's paying somebody off. He's paying off some government officials or something. Like that would be my mindset was,
Hmm.
well, he's got to be, doing something to get around this.
But
Um,
that's where I think they should take, if they have to test somebody again instead of just taking another blood sample, I think that is when they should like go for taking multiple
yeah,
forms of DNA samples from somebody instead of just a blood test. Like,
yeah. I feel like they should do that in the first place
hmm,
to allow for the situation where you get a bad sample, in the arm or something like that. That you should do the mouth swab and the
just to
and
make sure
the
that the two samples match anyways, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Yeah, it says within days of landing in Durban, returning to South Africa to live with his mother, he officially submitted an application to the Health Professional Council of South Africa to have his medical license reinstated.
And they
Yeah,
said
so
HE double hockey sticks, no.
that's exactly what they said. I'm actually verifying that though now because
I wonder how
my
that does
information
work though.
here.
Like, I mean, because I guess if that was the case, like everyone would just run to other countries to like continue their nonsense.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, they did not, by the way. He did apply to have his medical registration reinstated less than 3 weeks after, which, I mean, that's how he was making a living. So, he's got to make money somehow, I guess.
No, and he's
Um,
living with his mom now.
yeah. Yeah, he faced significant scrutiny as the council was actively reviewing his history and considering his registration. Schneeberger abruptly withdrew his application in the mid-October 2004. He did not successfully return to practicing medicine, so there's no worry that you would run into this guy and he would be practicing medicine. So that's good news. But yeah, that's I
Okay.
can't and thinking back to it too,
Gotta
to
find a
the
new
idea
career
that
now.
yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to think of a joke about, something about putting tubes in your arm, but I can't come up with anything, and I don't think this is joke appropriate anyway. Um, but to picture doing that to yourself too, because he had to do that to himself. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm sure he could numb his arm up that he wouldn't feel the incision in that, but there's still going to be pain involved there.
At least
And I mean,
afterwards.
yeah, it's at some point, right? I mean, just the level of like, I don't even know what to call it. Like, to psychosis, to like do something like that to yourself, to put this someone else's. It would have served him right if the person whose blood he put in his arm was somehow diseased and he got diseased from it.
Oh,
You know?
well, yeah, but I guess since it was in the tube, though. it wasn't
Well, when they
really,
take a sample, though,
they're
there's
poking
going
a
to be
hole
some,
in
it's
it.
going to bleed, and some of that's going to end up in his system, right? I mean, it makes sense. Like, when you give a blood sample, when they stop, they give you a little cotton swab, and you hold it there while they get the tape to put over the cotton swab to
Ugh,
keep
that's just
any
so
more blood from
gross.
coming out. Yeah, that's so confusing. And because he had the I'm like, there's so many aspects of this that I'm more curious about, but because he had those anti coagulating fluids in there with it, would it ever like clot then, or like
Man,
you know what I'm
and
saying?
that poor girl too, because like I guess it said, like I had read something about like the whole reason that she went to the hospital or went to his doctor's office in the first place was because she had
Right,
like a fight with her boyfriend or something.
right,
And that's just awful. Like you have a fight with your boyfriend, something happens, like you go to the hospital to like
yeah,
get
10
get
times worse.
yeah, like wow, now you're making this fight with the boyfriend, not even like no, that hasn't
Yeah,
even been mentioned. Like screw him.
yeah,
Like
exactly. I mean,
goes to the doctor
yeah.
and gets sexually assaulted. That's
So
crazy.
I think I think we're going to start giving out awards on True Crime Thursday. And I think Dr. Schneeberger, Dr. John Schneeberger, wins the award for worst doctor ever.
Do we still call him Dr.
We
Schneeberger
don't. No,
because
I guess we
he's
don't.
not
Yeah, we just call him. Well,
John?
I
Oh, we just
I
call
can
him
call him some
John?
things, but we don't use that kind of language on the podcast. But that Schneeberger guy,
John.
Schneeberger,
We just call him John now, not
we
Dr.
just call him.
John.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's no longer doctor.
Yeah,
That's true. Why does my former, it should be the former, the
former
the
doctor.
person formerly known as doctor. Um, yeah, because he doesn't get to be called doctor anymore. Which, that's the other thing too. So think about that. You go to school for all those years to become a doctor, and this is how you choose to use those skills. It's kind of not good. The good news about this story is that no one died here. I guess, right?
Well,
I
and
mean,
honestly, like, um, outside of all of the like extra investigation things that the girl was like taking after the police kind of like, didn't find out any information. The only reason that he was even caught was because of the stepdaughter, because the
right,
stepdaughter like came out and said
right,
something, and it had been happening to her for a while
right.
at that
Well,
point.
and the other thing that it made me wonder too is, I mean, I guess, were there other people that this happened to?
Hmm.
Because somebody that does something like that, he only did it twice. Like,
That's what I
or
was
was he?
wondering too. Like, did she
Yeah.
just come in and she was just so distraught or whatever, and he just like looked at that as an opportunity to, but no, because
I mean, if he was using these drugs that made people have amnesia, were there other women that he did this
that they
to
just
who
didn't.
just didn't remember
Yeah.
anything from it? You know, he maybe like this Candy's reaction gave him a hint that she was somewhat coherent or
And
something,
that's
and
when
that's
he
why
inject
he.
he put the thing in his arm. Cause
No, that's why he. No, no. I mean, I'm thinking he just regularly like had this thing in his arm so that when
like
this.
just in
I mean,
case.
because
No.
remember the stepdaughter was like years later. It was
Yeah.
years later, and he had the same mo, the same trick going on. So
Like just in cases. Like that's
yeah,
weird.
yeah, he exploited his knowledge of anatomy. Three separate instances of self surgery to fool the lab. So three separate instances of self surgery. So I guess you're right. I guess he did put it in his arm when they were going to do the test, which is also kind of odd to me though, because like, okay, the police call him up and say, "Hey, we've got this accusation against you. We need to come and do a blood draw." well, when they go to do it and he's got like a bandage on his arm in that area, is that not suspicious?
I think even
You
him just
know?
being like, okay, yeah, uh, right here.
Yeah, this arm, can you put it right or no, no, a little to the left. Yeah, I mean that's true too. Like why? But they did say
Because
that
when
he was
they,
directing the person that was doing the blood draw where to put the needle, and it's like,
and they're probably just like, whatever, he's a doctor.
yeah,
So
he's a
he's
doctor. I
just,
guess he knows. Yeah, I guess he knows where the vein is to pull it from. Because the other thing is
that's
like
weird.
when I get blood drawn. Now I'm not going to show my veins on camera, but when I get blood drawn, they always comment on like my veins in my arm because they're prominent and it makes it easier for them,
And
you
you're
know.
like,
So
thanks.
like, yeah, the phlebotomists love me when I need to go get blood drawn, but but uh
Uh,
so he's got this thing deep in his arm, is the way the article that I read described it.
yeah,
So
it would have to
like,
be.
are they just bypassing the vein that's right there and going, yeah, yeah, I guess we'll go where he said to, which is
To this
somewhere
empty
deeper.
area.
Yeah, to this like
Because even
where there
if they're
shouldn't even
going,
be a vein.
because even if they're going for the vein, that's what's confusing to me. Even if they're going for like this vein right here,
Yeah,
they would like only hit the vein and they would never go to that. Like I feel like if that tube is on top of a vein where a vein should be, then it's not even going to look like a vein. Like that part is
yeah,
is
it's
very,
gonna be noticeable.
especially the fact
Yeah,
that they took blood from him multiple times. Like that part doesn't make
yeah.
sense to me, but you
Well,
know.
the third one, they said it was a bad, like the quality was bad, which might mean
And too
that
small. They
like,
said it also was too small of a sample. So that means he
yeah,
was running out of blood.
yeah, the
He had
tube was
to,
empty and he didn't have
yeah.
another chance to fill it up. Um, no, no, but I'm also wondering, did it somehow pull a little bit of both? Did it pull a little bit of that person's
Oh,
blood and a little bit of his, and the mix of them was like confusing for it or something like that?
like a pee test
Um,
when they say don't you can't just dip the pee cup in the water,
yeah,
in the toilet
yeah,
water.
yeah, exactly. In the toilet water. Yeah, don't do that. Three separate occasions, 92, 93, and 96, when police escorts brought him to the laboratory tech to draw the blood. So the police went to get him to take him to the lab tech. He had to have known they were coming, right? Yes, Schneeberger deliberately guided the technician to insert the needle into the exact spot in his forearm where the rubber tube was buried. Now, I mean, I don't know if this like lab tech is somebody who's like a trained phlebotomist. I would assume it would be, right? I mean,
Especially in a
and
case like
so
this.
so why are you, what, when he's saying,
Like,
you know, like, it's like if I go to get like the tires rotated on my car and I'm telling them like to
yeah.
do it a certain way, they're gonna be like, we're good. We do this all the time. We
Maybe
know
it
how to
was
do it.
unless maybe it was just a police officer who was was
Yeah, right.
taking
It was
his
just
blood.
the cop that came. That would be upsetting if they just had an officer there like putting
No.
on the rubber gloves and doing that.
Like, all
Yeah,
right, do you
but
know how to do this?
yeah. Yeah, have you done this before? Um so yeah,
Yeah.
this was a weird case though. It was interesting that it happened on Halloween because inserting a tube of someone else's blood into your arm kind of has a little bit of
Yeah, that is very Halloweeny.
a Halloween, yeah, aspect to it. So
Man, I know
the good
they
news is,
they
go
hit
ahead.
they hit that tube and that blood started pouring out. I know they were like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, you were right. This is your good
Yeah.
vein."
Yeah, that is the right spot. Even though it's so far from where the actual vein
So
is, that is
far
the right spot.
down.
Yeah. And why won't it stop bleeding now? Like that's the thing I don't understand is he put the
Yeah,
anticoagulants
that's
in there. It
crazy.
should have never stopped bleeding. He's just holding the thing. No, you don't got to put tape. I'll just hold it here. And then he went back to his office and took the tube out, I guess. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah, maybe. It's weird.
Weird one, weird one. It just shows you that I think all of these stories are the same, come to the same conclusion. There's a lot of bad people.
Yeah, a lot of weirdos out there, guys.
Yeah.
Be safe. Watch your
Yeah.
surroundings.
Yeah. And if you go to a doctor and I don't even know how you prevent against this.
Right, even if she did
Know your
research on
doctor.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
know your doctor.
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks for checking us out this week. See you again on Monday for Marvel Monday. And Marvel Mondays are getting exciting, Alyssa. You don't participate, but we're getting really close to Spider-Man Brand New Day. So Marvel Mondays are starting to get really exciting. And you've commented on this. It's also causing a lot of chatter on the YouTube channel. So
Well,
love that.
yeah. Comment on our stuff, guys, too.
Yeah. Tell us what you think of this case, because
Yeah.
I thought this one was just crazy. So, all right. Have a good weekend. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.